Good afternoon, everybody.
Noon.
Thank you all for being here. My name is Garo Gazarian. I'm a member of the Pan-Armenian Council for Western United States, which is an organization, an umbrella organization, and I am this afternoon tasked with facilitating its first ever press conference. The Pan-Armenian Council of Western United States is made up of 25 Armenian organizations in the United States, including the Armenian churches with more than 1,700 years of history, Armenian political parties whose histories can be traced as far back to the 19th century, as well as benevolent, athletic, cultural, youth, and professional organizations. Honorable public officials who are here with us this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press. Today, Armenians are living in critical times. We live in existential threats of ethnic cleansing and a genocide underway. A genocide underway being perpetrated by Azerbaijan, hence our presence here before its consulate in Los Angeles. This ongoing calamity of the 21st century is taking place this very moment with the blockade of Artsakh, also known as Nagorno-Karabakh, with starvation, deprivation of medicine, and with total disregard for human rights, all of which orchestrated by the Azeri government in Baku. The right to life, which is a universal right of all people, regardless of race, creed, ethnicity, or geographic location, is being denied to the Armenians of Artsakh for now 255 days, consecutive 255 days, for more than 8 consecutive months. This is an atrocity which is being carried out by targeting our brothers and sisters in Artsakh in the Caucasus. That is why the Pan-Armenian Council of Western United States hereby announces that beginning at 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time this evening, and for the next 24 hours until 7 p.m. tomorrow, we call upon all Armenians, all peace-loving Americans throughout the United States of America to join us as we, in solidarity, join the plight of our compatriots in Artsakh, wherever they may be, at work, at home, or in school, by refraining from consuming any food, by engaging and staging a 24-hour hunger strike for reflection, for renewal of our commitment to our people's struggle against evil. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all embrace the urgency of we before me. We before me. The urgency of us before I. Us before I. Because that is why today we once again stand here and we call upon the United States administration, the United Nations, the European Union, and all nations around the world to rise up against man's inhumanity to man and to recognize the barricaded and oppressed people of Artsakh's inalienable right to peace, to security, and to self-determination. At this time, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our church spiritual leaders, Archbishop Hovnan Derderian, Archbishop Torkom Donoyan, Bishop Michael Muradian, and Very Reverend Henrik Shahnazarian. I also, of course, will be giving an opportunity for our elected officials who have been with us through thick and thin to express their remarks at this podium. But as to those who are here with us that may not be speaking this afternoon. I would like to acknowledge their long-term support and their presence here again this afternoon, and they are, in no particular order, Los Angeles City Council member Ms. Heather Hutt, Executive Director, Jewish World Watch, Serena Oberstein, Director of Advocacy and Policy, Assyrian American Association of Southern California, Ramon Taksh, Chairman and CEO, Asian American National Committee, Tuan Nguyen, and of course, former California Member of Assembly Member Adrian Nazarian. Before I proceed to call upon our elected officials who are here, at this time I would like to call upon my colleague, Ms. Talene Yakubian Esquire, to present the PAC-WUSA's demands in English. She will be followed by Ms. Lena Bozoyan, who will present the PAC's demands in Armenian for the Armenian media that is present here this afternoon. Ms. Yakubian? Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed supporters of justice and peace. I'm here today on behalf of the Pan-Armenian Council. As you heard, the largest coalition of Armenian American community organizations in the United States. I am here, we are here, because unbelievably, for 255 days, Azerbaijan has cut off 120,000 people from the desperately needed food, medicine, energy resources, and other urgently needed supplies. 8 years ago, in 2015, we stood in front of another consulate, the Turkish consulate, to commemorate 100 years since the Armenian genocide. We could not imagine then that we would be facing another modern-day genocide. In our minds, we had made allowances for what happened in 1915. We told ourselves the world didn't know, the world could not see. So how is it that today, in 2023, in a world where one can hear and see a pin drop thousands of miles away, that the International Red Cross can be restricted from the delivery of food and medicine to the blockaded people of Artsakh, Nagorno-Karabakh? In direct violation of the November 9, 2020 trilateral ceasefire statement following the 44-day war, and the International Court of Justice mandating Azerbaijan to take all measures at its disposal to ensure the unimpeded movement of persons, vehicle, and cargo along the Lachin corridor in both directions, which was again reaffirmed on July 7, Azerbaijan continues its crimes against humanity. With premeditated intent, Azerbaijan is committing ethnic cleansing through starvation. Just last week, a 40-year-old previously healthy man died of starvation. A young woman suffered a miscarriage due to malnutrition. Under these conditions, the people of Artsakh have weeks to live. Time is running out. With the lives of 30,000 Armenian children, 20,000 elderly, and 9,000 persons with disabilities hanging in the balance, we require affirmative action by President Biden, the Biden administration, and the U.S. State Department to prevent a new Armenian genocide at the hands of the Aliyev regime by, number one, ensuring the immediate reopening of the Lachin corridor through the passage of a UN Council resolution. The United States currently holds the presidency of the UN Security Council. Just last week, member countries of the Council spoke in support of the immediate opening of the Lachin corridor, in conformance with the February 22 ICJ order. This support must be converted to action. Immediately halting all U.S. military assistance to Azerbaijan in light of the illegal humanitarian blockade imposed on the Armenians of Artsakh, consistent with Section 907 of the Freedom Support Act. 3, sanctioning members of the Aliyev regime under the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act for ongoing war crimes and crimes against humanity perpetrated by individual members of the Aliyev regime. 4, delivering $100 million in USAID humanitarian assistance to Artsakh through the Lachin corridor to ensure the survival of the 120,000 civilians. 5, introducing a UN Security Council resolution to establish a United Nations mission in Artsakh consisting of 5,000 international military personnel to ensure the physical security of the population. Resolute action is needed now to prevent a second Armenian genocide. The people of Artsakh have the unquestionable and inalienable right to self-determination based on the principle of remedial secession. We ask the United States and the good citizens of this nation to lead the international community in fulfilling its global obligation to protect the 120,000 Armenians of Artsakh. Today, we make a solemn commitment to stand with Artsakh in a powerful and meaningful way. In a world full of noise and distractions, we choose to make our voice heard through a symbol of solidarity that resonates beyond words. A 24-hour hunger strike beginning at 7 p.m. tonight. This small sacrifice, a temporary discomfort for us, sends a resounding message to the world. We will not allow the citizens of Artsakh to perish. We will not let the blockade continue unchallenged. We implore each and every one of you to join us in this endeavor from the depths of your heart and the corners of your homes. As you wake up tomorrow and carry on with your daily routines, remember the significance of this hunger strike. Let the passion we feel today empower us to transcend physical limitations and advocate for change that is desperately needed. But our commitment cannot end with these 24 hours. Let this hunger strike be the spark that ignites a sustained flame of activism, of awareness, and of international pressure. Let it be the catalyst that propels governments, organizations, and individuals to break down the barriers that have isolated Artsakh for far too long. We have the power to make a difference, and through our unwavering dedication, we can pave the way to a brighter future for Artsakh and its people. Let us remember that our actions today, no matter how small they may seem, can lead to monumental change. As we embark on this hunger strike, let our hunger for justice, for freedom, and for a better world be the driving force that propels us forward. Together, with Artsakh in our hearts and determination in our souls, we shall overcome the blockade and herald a new era of hope, peace, and security for the people of Artsakh. Thank you very much.
Այս պահում կհրավիրեմ Տիկին Լենա Բոզոյանը ուղղելու համահայկական խորհրդի խոսքը հայերենով. Ms. Lena Bozoyan to present the remarks in Armenian of the Pan-Armenian Council.
Սիրելի հայրենագիտներ, Արևմտյան Միացյալ Նահանգներու համահայկական խորհուրդը գոչ կնե Միացյալ Նահանգներու նախագահին եւ անոր վարչագազմին բոլոր անհրաժեշտ միջոցներով եւ անհաբաղ ցերնարգել ամեն նախաձեռնության թատրեցնելու Ադրբեջանին կողմեն Արցախի Լեռնային Ղարաբաղի անօրինական շրջափակումը, որը արդեն 8 ամիս է իվեր շարունակվի, վտանգելով հայերու կյանքերը։ Եվ այսպես, որպես ամերիկահայ քաղաքացիներ կպահանջենք առաջին ապահովել Լաչինի միջանցքի անհաբաղ վերապացումը Մագի անվտանգության խորհրդի փանացեվի ընդունմամբ, որը 2023 թվականի փետրվար 22-ի արդարադատության միջազգային դատարանի նախնական միջոցառմանը դրամապանությամբ Ադրբեջանին կհանձնարար է Լաչինի միջանցքի բացումով։ Երկրորդ, անհաբաղ թատրեցնել ամնի կողմէ Ադրբեջանին դրամատրվող բոլոր ռազմական օգնությունը հաշվի առնելով Արցախի հայերու նկատմամբ աբորինի շրջափակումը, որը համաշունչ է Միացյալ Նահանգներու ազատության աջակցության ակտի 907-րդ հոդվածին։ Երրորդ, Ալիևի վարչագահի գլխավոր թերագադարներու անդամներուն հանդեպ որդեգրել բաժամիջոցներ, համաշխարհային Մագնիսկի մարդու իրավունքներու հաշվետվության ակտի համաձայն, շարունակական բادرազմական հանցագործություններու եւ մարդկության թեմ հանցագործություններու զույգ հիմքերու վրա եւ որոնց փաստարկները արգայ են եւ դրամատրելի։ 4. Նախաձեռնել Լաչինի միջանցքով մինչև $100 միլիոն մարդասիրական օգնություն դրամատրել Արցախայության։ 2023 թվականի հունիսի 15-ին սկսյալ ամբողջությամբ շրջապակված 120,000 խաղաղ բնակիչներու փոյադևումը ապահովելու համար։ 5. Նախաձեռնել ՄԱԳ-ի հանձնարարու եւ օպերատիվ առաքելություն UN-Մենք հիմնելու մասին, որը կփաղկանա նվազագույնը 5,000 միջազգային զինվորական անձնագազմի Արցախի բնակչության ֆիզիկական անվտանգությունը ապահովելու համար։ Իր ոճը հղելով իր համայնքին եւ հայ ազգի զավակներուն ընդհանրապես համահայկական խորհուրդը կհորդորե բոլորին հաջորդ 24 ժամերը վերածել խոգումի, գետրոնացումի եւ մեր ազգային բանջարության հանդեպ մեր պատրաստակամությունը վերանորոգելու առիթի։ Ամեն մագարտակներու վրա եւ ամեն ուրեք թիմելու 24 ժամվա հացադուլիմը այսօր ժամի 7-ին սկսյալ։ Միասնական, գետրոնացիալ եւ համագարկված ճիճքերով է, որ միան մեր համայնքի ցայնը գրնա առավել աստու ըլլալ ի պաշտպանություն Արցախի խաղաղության եւ համերաշխության անկախելի իրավունքի։ Շնորհակալ։
Champion of Armenian rights, advocate of human rights, and spokesperson for decency, please welcome Congressman Adam Schiff.
Thank you very much to the Pan-Armenian Council of Western Region, USA, for bringing us together today to raise awareness nationally and internationally about the dire humanitarian catastrophe created by the more than 8-month-long ongoing illegal blockade of the Lachin corridor by Azerbaijan. I'm grateful too that my colleague Brad Sherman, such a great champion of the Armenian cause, is here as well. We stand here today in unity with the 120,000 residents of Nagorno-Karabakh, also known as Artsakh. And I want to convey my utmost gratitude to the Pan-Armenian Council for your unparalleled leadership in organizing today's gathering. I want to also thank all the elected officials and members of the community for taking part in this important event. Let's take a step back in history. When in November of 2020, Azerbaijani bombs fell on the people of Artsakh, and for weeks, dozens of innocent Armenians were killed or injured, and thousands more were displaced from their homes, sleeping out in the open for fear of drones or artillery or bombs. Historic churches were bombarded and destroyed. Militants from Syria were deployed as mercenary fighting forces by Azerbaijan and its Turkish sponsors. The war waged by Azerbaijan against Armenians did not happen overnight. It was the result of a corrupt regime in Baku that has nothing to offer its people other than the nationalistic ethnic hatreds as a substitute for the peace and freedom they cannot deliver. And to this day, Aliyev's plan of ethnic cleansing of Armenians continues in accordance with his deliberate and strategic design, a design which left unchecked will lead to genocide. For more than 8 months, the people of Artsakh have been living under Azerbaijan's illegal blockade with devastating effects, with 120,000 individuals denied access to food, water, medical supplies and services, gas, and consistent electricity. While previously the International Committee of the Red Cross was able to provide limited deliveries of essential food and medicine and facilitate transport in medical emergencies, Azerbaijan weeks ago cut off access even for the ICRC. There is no question that the population is completely isolated and the toll on civilians is escalating rapidly. The situation is a dire humanitarian crisis, as stated by a group of UN experts on August 7th. The population of Artsakh is in urgent need of assistance, including those most vulnerable, pregnant women, children, the elderly, and the disabled. Life-saving medications and baby formulas are almost gone. Health authorities in Artsakh have reported a surge in the disease incidence and death rate related to malnutrition, lack of medicines, and lack of emergency medical services and transport. For example, the level of anemia among pregnant women has reached approximately 90%, and incidents of fainting due to malnutrition have become widely reported. The grave consequence is that innocent civilians are increasingly suffering from malnutrition and facing an imminent threat of starvation. At this very moment, a convoy of trucks carrying 400 tons of humanitarian aid is blocked by Azerbaijan and not allowed to enter Artsakh. These actions are in clear violation of international law and the 2020 trilateral ceasefire statement. The August 7th statement by UN experts called for Azerbaijan to, quote, uphold its international obligations to respect and protect human rights, including the right to food, health, education, and life. I join them in that call. From the day the blockade of the Lachen corridor began, I have urged the U.S. State Department and USAID to take action to protect the people of Artsakh and their right of self-determination. And although they have tried to use diplomacy to put an end to Aliyev's blockade of the Lachen corridor, the time for statements and such calls has clearly passed. The U.S. must take concrete actions and immediately use other tools to press Azerbaijan to return to compliance with international law and order. In a letter I sent to President Biden last Monday, I urged him to convene an emergency session of the UN Security Council on the crisis in Artsakh while the U.S. holds the presidency, and to direct the U.S. mission to the UN to lead a UN security resolution calling on Azerbaijan to immediately comply with the orders of the International Court of Justice, providing for the deployment of a team of experts to Artsakh to gather information and produce an independent report on the human rights and humanitarian situation. Shortly after my letter was sent, and at the urging of Armenia, a UN Security Council meeting was scheduled. And on August 15th, a day before the UN security meeting on the situation in Artsakh, I spoke directly with our ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, to personally convey my sense of urgency and plead for U.S. help. I noted the fact that the United States continues to send military assistance and other aid to Azerbaijan, despite its documented record of human rights abuses. I raised the instance of Ramil Safarov, an Azeri man who murdered an Armenian man during a NATO Partnership for Peace exercise in 2004, killed him while he slept. This murderer was then pardoned by the Azerbaijani government, promoted in the military, and given a hero's welcome back home. They have continued to keep POWs and committed atrocities against them. A country that celebrates a murderer like Safarov, that engages in torture and murder of POWs, cannot be allowed